Today, I wanted to talk about love and happiness. And I feel like that goes along with what everybody was sharing today, which is, not a coincidence. um, so when I think of our principles and I think of, we make our own happiness or unhappiness as we obey or disobey nature's physical and spiritual laws. I think back to when I kind of meandered into the church in 2005, I believe, was the first time I visited a spiritualist church. And I remember reading that principle thinking, great, if I keep coming back, I'm going to get happiness somehow. It's going to happen, right? But on a deeper level, what if we don't know what happiness looks like? What if we've never had, we didn't grow up in a loving place or a safe place, and we've never experienced happiness. It was just, to me, it was just this foreign word. I remember walking into the church thinking, I hope I don't get found out that I'm such a horrible creature and person and unloved. And I felt like the most unloved person in the world at that point. And so I sat in the service and I sat, they passed out the principles, and I remember wanting everything that I read in the principles. And I had no clue how I was going to be happy, but or what it looked like. But I started to think about it for the first time in my life, that, it is possible. If this is a place that teaches it, I'm going to keep coming back, because that's what I really, really deep in my heart wanted, was to feel loved and to find a little bit of happiness for myself. But when you feel like you don't deserve it, you'll never find it, because you don't know what it looks like. So for me, my communication with spirit, and I want to be talk about this because I think mediumship and messages are wonderful, and they're great ways to get proof and healing. But ultimately, the spirit is here to help us, is here to help me, help you. And how that came to be for me was, I started to physically feel the spirit world very differently. I wasn't afraid of it. I wasn't confused of it anymore. It started to getting all this knowledge from the church. It made a lot of sense to me. And I started to feel more connected. I started to feel like there were spirits who were interested in my becoming a person who felt loved. So my first experience with feeling loved in this life was not from anyone who was alive. It really was from the spirit world, because I knew that I could communicate with them. And I know a lot of us do this. We talk to them all day in our heads. And so I would start to rely on that and start to trust that. Now, the issue with me was, if you have no idea what love looks like, either love or happiness, I attributed, these human qualities of love to spirit. And I felt like, well, I don't deserve this. And if I do things wrong, it's going to go away. And, I started to trust the communications I got. And the proof was in how my life was changing. I had been stuck in a lot of chaos for a long time, which to me was just a misunderstanding of spiritual law. I didn't know very much about it. I was one of those people who, I felt bad things happen to me all the time. And, I know my friends would joke that one day a meteor was going to come and hit my car because, just one thing after another, and it felt very overwhelming, and I just didn't have an understanding of spiritual law. So when I started to understand spiritual law and I started to trust my communication with my spirits, all of a sudden my insecurities started to go away. It was almost like this wonderful awakening where the fear was slowly leaving me. I stopped doubting myself because of my communication with my spirits, and my path changed in ways that I just couldn't imagine. So for me, the spirit and communication with the spirit helped me to trust my own feelings, which I had never experienced in my life. I didn't trust my own feelings because I was taught you weren't supposed to have feelings, and I'm sure a lot of us can relate to that. So when I started trusting my own feelings and I started feeling like there was this love from the spirit world for me, I started to feel like I belonged in this world. I started to find peace. I started to get this peace with myself. And as we know, vibrationally, my vibration was lifted and I could attune to higher spirits because I felt, a kinship to them. I felt like I am now being guided. I'm now being helped in my life, and I see the proof. And so I raise my vibration, I attune to higher spirits, and through the law of attraction, all kinds of things are coming to me. And at first I'm like, wow, I don't deserve any of this. I felt like it was just, I felt like like I just felt so incredibly unworthy. But I had felt unworthy my whole life. So here's where the change happens, is these things start happening and I start attracting more and I start trusting my feelings and my vibration changes. And with the development of my mediumship, for me personally, and I know mediumship is different for everybody, it was almost like this, because I was now able to trust my feelings, the mediumship tuned in a little bit better, because when I do mediumship, I feel things. And so if I'm communicating that there's if there's a father, and I can feel the love in my heart, and that's how the message comes together. And previous to that, I didn't feel love before. So it didn't help me in communicating with spirit. It didn't help what I was attracting in my life. I look back now knowing spiritual law, and I look back at my life and I go, of course I attracted all of that. I was unhappy. I was unworthy. I didn't understand. I had a lot of doubt about myself. I had a lot of fear. I had a lot of anger. And I felt like if there was love out there, I had to work for it, that I didn't deserve it. And if I found love, I had to keep doing things that were good to keep it there. And the same, and learning that that's not how it works helped my mediumship, because I know sometimes we have as mediums and messengers, we have some doubts about ourselves, because it is kind of a crazy thing. But I know that it's coming on a love vibration, and I know that it never goes away. So spirit became my foundation and my rock to basically love, to working on a love vibration, understanding it. And now that I see a better way to live, and I see I can count on my spirits, and that's another thing. I was never able to count on anybody before. And so I thought that was a definition of love, and I was not correct. So spirit becomes my foundation for love and happiness, and through knowledge I can understand spiritual law, and I can keep my vibration up. And that's one thing that I wanted to share with everybody today. With progression, we progress, and sometimes moving forward, it can be a little fearful. I know for myself, 2020 brought so many changes, so many changes. And I have to remember to tune into spirit when I start to feel insecure, and not be afraid going forward that the same mistakes are going to be made, or I don't want to call them mistakes, but I shouldn't be afraid to move forward. And I know that because I haven't come this far to trust myself and learn to remove doubt. But moving forward, I just wanted to share that because our vibration is at a different place when we progress. We get to this different place in our vibration, and we attract basically what we are. So I'm grateful to be part of this philosophy that I learned through spiritualism, because it has changed my life in ways that are just, to me, looking back, amazing, because I could never see myself being happy. And I can say that today I know what that looks like. So I just wanted to share that, and thank you so much for allowing me to share that with you.